Have you ever wanted something and all of a sudden blocks start showing up? Well, I'm here to give you a little inside take on my life and what I've personally realized and found for myself. I'm gonna tell you a little story about my van right here that I live out of. So I picked up this van from a guy, didn't know much about vehicles, so I lucked out and got it for a good price. There were a lot of things wrong, and I'm still going through it all and getting things right and back to where they should be. But one of the things was the suspension. They actually lowered the van, which seems ridiculous to me, but yeah, so they basically cut the springs and like all the suspension was just jacked. Like there was no suspension. And I lived in it for a year with it like that, and finally came the time where I was getting ready to put a lift kit on it, because that's something that's important to me, is to be able to go out into Mother Earth and go anywhere I want with my van and it to be capable. So I put in the work and saved up the money to get a lift kit for the van. And I'm watching a few YouTube videos and it seems really easy to do, right? And I'm like, sweet, I finally got him in, just got off work. I have the weekend. I was like, this is gonna be, a 1 to 2 day thing. I've done lift kits in the past, super easy normally. I mean, not super easy, but they're pretty easy. But then this time, so I was like, all right, you know what, let's start it. So I go to the back, because the back's just normally the easiest. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get into the flow by doing it on the back, so that when I get to the front, the harder part with all the steering and stuff, I kind of have, like, I'm in the flow state and I'm going and I'm, trusting myself and stuff. So I get the back done in an hour, both sides in an hour, super easy. It was like, oh yeah, this is great, I'll be driving tomorrow, and get to the front, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. On the right side, the shock has a bolt that's on top of it, and you got to loosen the bolt so that the shock can slide out. So that bolt was stripped. Okay, that was the first frustrating thing, and you can't get a grinder in there to cut it, and you can't really get a sawzall in there either, so it just was a pain in the butt. Then the other side, there's a steering knuckle, and it's got 2 ball joints that go in like this, and you have to unbolt them and take one out to get it out. Well, I got the first one out, so it slid out and everything, but then the ball joint was stuck in the steering knuckle. And so basically just everything was going wrong that could go wrong. I spent 3 days hammering, literally 3 days of me beating on this metal piece trying to get it out. Watched all the YouTube videos I could, nothing, So then I finally was like, all right, I'll just have to pay for it. So I took it to a guy, to a machine shop, and they couldn't get it out. So then I paid another guy and he couldn't get it out. And so what I ended up eventually having to do was just buy completely new steering knuckles. So basically this project of like a few grand turned into a project of like 5 grand. And what I realized through this process is this is something that I truly resonate and want in my reality. I really want a lift kit on my van so that I can do what I want to do with my van. And the universe was like, I will give you that, but you're gonna have to go through hard times to get to that reality. You have to go through the uncomfortable to get to comfortable. So in this moment, I really realized that, when you start to do things that you want to do, there's gonna be big moments of uncomfortability and fear and doubt and all that, but you have to just continue to push through and not let it stop you, because at the end of the day, we're always gonna have fear and we're always gonna have doubt, but it's how you handle those things. It's not about getting rid of them, it's about using them to your advantage and realizing that, this hard stuff really is gonna get me to where I want to go, so I need to do it. I could have just given up and sold this van, You know, I was in the middle of Oregon away from everyone I knew in a, like, it's called Phil's Trailhead. It's literally public land. I had my van there for a month without front wheels or tires on it. You know, like, I could have easily just given it all up, but no, because I want this, so I decided that I was going to push through. So I hope that this brings inspiration to you so that when you go through something hard, you know that you can push through and just let the universe run its course, because it is going to work out for you and you're going to grow. And what I will tell you is, now if I ever do a lift kit on a van again, guess what? I'm going to be able to do it a lot easier. So I hope you have a great day. Give me a good old thumbs up if you fucking related or resonated with this. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna say for that, but it'll come to me. I got faith. And I hope you do too.